Hi, vinyl community. It's Maria. I am, I'm taking part in the 80s music tag that was started by Steve Schnee of Stephen Schnee CD Junkie. Really excited about it. Brought out like this. I've got, Nick Rhodes behind me. I dug that out on my wall in 84. Bought these really cool glasses in 84. I was in my teens in the 80s. So the 80s is one of my favorite decades. And so I let's get started. The first question is favorite genre of the 80s. So what I'm going with is new wave slash new romantic. So I have shown this book in a different video. It's about new wave artists, and they gave a definition of new wave. What is new wave? In the UK, home to the majority of the artists featured in this book, new wave was initially code adopted by journalists and DJs eager to be perceived as cool, but too nervous to actually use the word punk with all its threatening implications. In America, new wave was an umbrella the size of a circus tent. It covered synth pop, ska, goth, alternative rock, bubblegum, Eurodance, industrial, new romantic, blue-eyed UK soul, and electronic dance music. It was a Tower of Babel populated by American bands who wanted to be British, British bands who wanted to be German, and German bands who wanted to be robots. It was an insane asylum whose patients were predominantly ambiguous, untouchable males with sucked in cheeks, 3D makeup, and wedding cake hair. So that's the official definition. So yeah, so I'm going to show some records of that genre. And okay, so I was a huge Culture Club fan. As a matter of fact, Boy George, like when I was 14, my mom was like, "Oh, well, you need to get your eyebrows waxed," which obviously I didn't want to do. But then I was looking and I'm like, "Can I get my eyebrows waxed like that?" She's like, "Yeah." All of a sudden it became cool. So yeah, and of course I love, Karma Chameleon, Church of the Poison Mind, Time, Clock in the Heart. I saw Culture Club very recently. Huge Cyndi Lauper fan. This is one of my favorite album covers ever. And do I have a Cyndi? Yeah, Time After, no, not Time After Time. This was True Colors, one of my favorites. So Cyndi Lauper. These are all the new wave I'm bringing out. The Human League. This one, so Fascination, I swear I thought that was on an LP. It was really just on this EP with Mirror Man, another one of my favorites. Human League Dare. And then this one I don't like as much, Hysteria. But the thing is, so when I was in the 80s, I really loved Marilyn Monroe, and I loved the beauty mark. And well, so Marilyn Monroe got me into a beauty mark, but Human League and Madonna gave me permission to wear it. I put one on. Oh, you can hardly see it. But yeah, if there's, oh, and you can't, there's not a good picture of them. Oh, here we go. One of them has a beauty mark. So yeah, they gave me permission to wear it. Oh, Power Station, which were members of two members of Duran Duran, Andy Taylor and John Taylor, then Robert Palmer and Tony Thompson, and really good stuff. Oh, and then here's more. This is just what I love about this genre. You've got Adam and the Ants. I mean, look at the makeup, look at the way they're dressed. This was so influential to the way like I was just experimenting with makeup at the time, and I really love stuff like that. Strip. I mean, look at the puffy shirt, the pirate shirt, and the whole thing. Really dramatic. And which one is it? This is Modern English. It's got Melt with You on it. Oh, and then of course, huge Go-Go's fan. They are absolutely incredible. I've never seen them to this day. It's a huge. I need to do it. I need to go see them if they ever get together and tour again. Um, And then another band I like. So this is the Eurythmics, and it's Annie Lennox on the cover. Although the Eurythmics were a duo, her and Dave Stewart. I don't know why he's not on the cover, but this 3-track 12-inch, we've got Annie Lennox and Dave Stewart on this one. So that's just a little taste of the new wave in my collection. So question number 2, show album or artist that got you into this genre. So obviously, Duran Duran were huge. This is probably one of my favorite albums of all time. It's got Rio, My Own Way, The Chauffeur, Save a Prayer. Save a Prayer at the school dances. Save a Prayer is like, oh, time to slow dance. Hungry Like the Wolf. Their videos were incredible. Very 80s art style. I've got this. This is from Japan. And Tiger Tiger. It's, oh wow, it's, where are my glasses? It has The Reflex, New Moon on Monday, Is There Something I Should Know? But it's all these disco mixes, and it's all formats. So it's CD, cassette, and record vinyls. So, I don't call them vinyls usually. So yeah, got the cassette. So Duran Duran is really what got me into it. And that's when I got into Culture Club and anything that was on MTV, although not many people I knew had MTV because you had to have cable. And we had, I think it was called like Video Music Channel. It was TV 69. It was out on an access road off of I-85. 69 still is in existence. They're not a video music channel, but very few people I knew actually had MTV, but we would watch videos with TV 69. I think it was called the Video Music Channel. So the next one, favorite year for music. I'm going to go with 1984. I started out 84, my birthday, January 26, 1984, turned 14. It was 40 years ago in 11 days. I started out 84. My class, we went to the Omni and heard Ronald Reagan speak. He was the current president. He did not go into detail about his plan to just demolish the middle class. I really wish he had given us a heads up on that one. But later that year, Mary Lou Retton won all those gold medals in gymnastics in the Olympics in LA, mainly because the Soviets boycotted it, because we had boycotted the Moscow Olympics in 80. No disrespect to Mary Lou Retton. She's really good. And also that summer, Geraldine Ferraro was nominated to run with Mondale on the Democratic ticket. And Indira Gandhi was assassinated that year. So anyway, but me, I was in 8th grade, graduated from 8th grade, started 9th grade, and the summer of 84 was just the biggest blast. I mean, I did babysitting for extra money, but I didn't really have a job. I hung out with a really close friend of mine, and she had MTV. She had it. So we would sit there and watch, and I actually started writing a book about that summer, like a young adult type of novel. And my main thing was her grandmother had this chunk of white chocolate that she didn't want. So my memories is just me gnawing through this chunk of white chocolate, watching MTV. And that summer, what we were watching, there was Corey Hart, his song Sunglasses at Night, and just, he's so gorgeous. And this was really like the one hit that I really loved, but I've kept the record all these years. Summer of 84, Purple Rain, like When Doves Cry was the first one to come out. And then for the rest, like up through 85, there was, Purple Rain, just anything, Let's Go Crazy, all the stuff from Prince's movie Purple Rain. And that was huge in 84 and into 85. The Cars. So we were watching, they had done some really incredible videos. The video for You Might Think, it was interesting. They're like the band is on a bar of soap in the bathtub, and Rick Ocasek is like a fly flying around, and then Magic, um, which he's like walking on water in a swimming pool. Just really great videos. I didn't like Drive. Drive was the big one, and I hated that, especially after You Might Think and Magic. Was that the song Magic? I think that was it. So yeah, so we were watching a lot of Cars. I can't even find it. Tina Turner, What's Love Got to Do with It? This was her big comeback in '84. She oh, and then Private Dancer. Let's see. Oh, and she covered I Can't Stand the Rain in 1984. And so all of this, Billy Idol. This is one of my favorite records. It's in my perfect record video. And the big video I remember from that summer was oh my God, Eyes Without a Face. We also were getting into Madonna. Well, so this one, and I've had this one since '84. Love the picture. And there we go. And if you also notice, she has a beauty mark. She always had it over her lip. And then for Like a Virgin, she moved it to her chin, sort of. And this, I got this a few years ago, but this is the one with the upside down cover. So it's an original. Totally loving Madonna in '84. And, you know, my friend and I were 14, so we're experimenting with makeup and beauty marks. And, you know, what a great time to experiment with makeup. Watching Patti Smythe with Scandal and the video for Warrior, still one of my favorite songs. Video for Warrior, she had this incredible makeup. You know, this just so inspirational for how are we going to dress? How are we going to wear our hair? What kind of makeup? I'm going to be like Madonna and wear 2 studs in this ear and then a dangly in that ear. I also, from the same year, I've got my Flock of Seagulls pin. And it's great that my family's lived in the same house since 1948, because all this stuff, like I wouldn't have my Nick Rhodes poster all these years later if I had brought it with me on every move. And you know, I've got my pin, I've got my beautiful golden sunglasses with sort of pink lenses. That summer, that spring and summer, Footloose had come out, and all of these songs, you know, there was Almost Paradise, there was Footloose, there was Let's Hear It for the Boy, Dancing in the Sheets by Shalimar, Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler. It was just incredible and such a great movie. I watched this at least once a year just to bring me back and to hear all the great music. So yeah, that favorite year of the '80s, '84. One heck of a year. If I had a time machine, I'd go back and spend a lot of time in the summer of '84. And keep on the lookout. I am going to finish that book that I wrote, the young adult. I finished 3 chapters of a young adult like novel of the summer of '84. And what's so cool is any music that I mention, people can just go on YouTube and see it. So let's see. Oh, so question number 4, which format? So basically I started with vinyl. Yeah, I really just had like a small record player, and sometimes it would skip. You'd have to put quarters on the needle. And then so I started out. I got, you know, it was all records. I had 45s and LPs. Then when I got my Walkman, Christmas of '85, I switched over to cassettes so I could have my music with me. So yeah, I didn't get into CDs until '91, and my 21st birthday, I got a CD player, and then didn't buy vinyl again until about 10 years ago. A little bit here and there, but you know. So yeah, that was question 4. Your favorite artists of the '80s. So I had pulled out a lot of those to show my new wave and and new romantic stuff. So there are a lot of other artists. Madness, ska, it's really, and I'm going to tell you, when I pulled it out, I'm like, I'm going to put this on the turntable. It was literally the first time I've put it on the turntable since the 80s. And I've always loved It Must Be Love, because it's just so simple and sweet. Oh, Pat Benatar. So this is a live album, and she's doing my favorite song, excuse me, Love is a Battlefield. This is live from Earth, 1983. She's doing Hit Me With Your Best Shot, Promises in the Dark, Heartbreaker, great song, Love is a Battlefield, Fire and Ice, Hell is for Children. Oh, I bought my first Van Halen album, 1984, in 1984. Eddie and I share a birthday. And after I bought this one, I had to get all the Van Halen albums. So I always say that I have all 6 Van Halen albums, because after David Lee Roth left, I had no interest in the band after Dave left. So and I didn't pull out all my Van Halen. Now, I loved the Stray Cats. This is a greatest hits. And this right here is at Rant and Rave with the Stray Cats. And it's got, I think Stray Cat Strut is on this one. Oh, look at that Cadillac. She's Sexy and 17. That's sort of problematic. But I Won't Stand in Your Way. It's like this heartbreaking romantic song. You know what? Stray Cat Strut is not on this one, but I loved all the whole rockabilly and the whole retro. I need to try to get my hair like Brian Setzer's, because I need to do something. The Pretenders. So these are not in the right order. Learning to Crawl. It's got my favorite Christmas song, 2,000 Miles. Middle of the Road, Back on the Chain Gang, Time the Avenger. And all of these are absolutely, this is a beautiful cover photo. More Pretenders. And Chrissie Hynde just rocks out. And I did get into Journey. I mean, who wouldn't get into Journey? Journey Escape is probably my favorite. It's got Open Arms, which I loved when I was, young. Don't Stop Believing, which I still love. Stone in Love, Still They Ride, stuff like that. And then Journey Frontiers with Separate Ways, World Apart, Send Her My Love. Faithfully, that tugged at my heartstrings when I was, 13 or 14. I don't know why. So I got into that. Absolutely loved Def Leppard. Just this one and High and Dry, because after this, I just didn't get into them. And I noticed that the longer Joe Elliott's mullet got, the less I liked them. So yeah, you can gauge Def Leppard's, the quality of their music by it's inversely proportional to the length of Joe Elliott's mullet. Another great one, John Cougar. Is this no, this is American Fool. And it's got my all-time favorite, Jack and Diane, and Hurt So Good. This was incredible. I can still literally remember the first time I heard Jack and Diane, and then I flash back there every time I hear it. I brought this out because you don't see these, comedy albums. This is Eddie Murphy, comedian. I didn't get Eddie Murphy Raw, but you don't see comedy albums anymore. People don't do stuff like that. Okay, the next one. Show an album you felt was underrated in the 80s and you encourage people to check out. Okay, so this record, I think critically it was lauded. This is Laurie Anderson, Big Science. But as far as, there weren't any radio friendly songs on this. It was it wasn't a huge seller, and I think people would like to hear it. It's Oh Superman is on there, and she's she plays the violin, and it's just really like avant-garde. I've got some more Laurie Anderson. Oh, and this is the one CD I'm showing because Steve Schnee said it's all formats. So yeah, give Laurie Anderson a chance. It was critically lauded. It just was not this big popular record at the time. It was the kind of thing you would buy the record and listen to the whole thing. There weren't, hits that you were going to hear on the radio. Um, okay, show an album you liked or loved back in the 80s, but you appreciate even more now. Okay, that is this one. A Flock of Seagulls. What's the name of the album? Is it self-titled? Yeah, Flock of Seagulls. This has one of my favorite songs ever, Space Age Love Song. Absolutely incredible. There is Iran is on this one. I love Telecommunication. And DNA was an instrumental that won a Grammy. And look at this album cover. There's so much going on because this is a beach, but there's also a table that the TV's sitting on. This is the band before Mike Score had his very 80s noteworthy haircut. I think he has it in this one. That's the back of Listen. And because I liked those two so much, I did get The Story of a Young Heart. Probably have listened to it 3 times. But the first Flock of Seagulls album, loved it then, but totally appreciate it so much more now. Space Age Love Song is probably, it's up there with me for, favorite songs of all time. Okay, next question. Artist who became popular in the 80s that is still creating great music. Lenny Kravitz, Let Love Rule. So this was his first album under his name, Lenny Kravitz. He was Romeo Blue before then, and so anyway, I've got to stretch my legs. When this came out, I immediately got it. This is the tape. I immediately got it. Let Love Rule had been released. There is like Mr. Cab Driver, I Build This Garden for Us. All the songs were so great, and he was so gorgeous. And like he and Lisa Bonet were married, and they were like this Gen X couple, except for when I just Googled him. He was born in 64, so a few months shy of being Gen X. But in my mind, he and Lisa Bonet were this Gen X couple. And and as far as still making music, March 15th of this year, he's releasing another album, Blue Electric Light. He's released albums consistently since, what was this, 89? Yeah, this was 89. He's released albums consistently, like every 3 or 4 years. Well, I think the next one came out 2 years later, then like every 3 or 4 years. It's been about 6 years, but in March, a new album from Lenny Kravitz. Oh, and a footnote as far as like vinyl, he and Lisa Bonet have a child named Zoe who was starring in the TV version of High Fidelity. The book took place at a record store in London. The movie took place at a record store in Chicago, but the TV show took place at a record store in Brooklyn. And it was so great for anyone who likes vinyl. They're just all these references that you would get. And then it was canceled after the first season. And I really wish it had gone for a second season because it was really incredible. Now, let's see. Oh, album CD or box set of an 80s album reissued in 2023. And I've shown this before. It's one of my best purchases. It is from the John Hughes. It's the Life Moves Pretty Fast. The John Hughes mixtapes. And it's designed like these are a bunch of mixtapes with songs from his films. Now, some of these films did have soundtracks. That's why this qualifies as my reissue. Although it wasn't 2023, it was like November of 20 2022. So, but I'm going with it because I think by the time I got it, it was 2023. Absolutely incredible. Um, it comes with a booklet, and the person he worked with, Tarquin Gotch, who who helped put this together and was a consultant for the music in his films, is a relative of the vinyl community's Rachel. Rachel's Ghost is what she's going by now. So yeah, Rachel is related to Tarquin Gotch. So Tarquin Gotch and John Hughes' son put this together, and so they made it look like mixtapes, like all of that, and then the actual record. It's a gorgeous red, and look at the label. It's you almost want to stick a pencil in there and turn. So yeah, so this is just, it's all those 80s movies. It's Pretty in Pink, Breakfast Club, European, no, Vacation. Um, oh gosh, I can't remember them. Oh, Ferris Bueller, Some Kind of Wonderful, The Breakfast Club, Weird Science, She's Having a Baby. So really wonderful packaging. There are 6 discs. I think there's 70 something songs on this. So yeah, incredible 80s records reissued. Some of them didn't have, some of the films didn't have a soundtrack. Ferris Bueller's Day Off did not have a soundtrack, although in the final credits it says that the soundtrack is going to be coming out. Never did. But got here. It's not film by film. It's made like mixtapes. So you don't know what's coming up next. And it's so much fun. So 80s album that influenced you to pursue a different genre. And I've said this a few times. This album, Owner of a Lonely Heart, absolutely love. This is Yes, 90125. Owner of a Lonely Heart, I loved, but Leave It is what got me. Got this record. It Can Happen is one of my favorites. Absolutely incredible record that led me to, I'm like, well, where do I go after this? I bought Classic Yes, fell in love with it, and then throughout 85 and 86, I would go to Book Nook, and for like $2 or $3, Yes album, like, and over 85 and 86, there was about 2 or 3 months in late 85 that I only listened to Yes. Only listen to Yes. That's so yeah, prog rock. This record that came out in the 80s, I had never heard of prog rock. Didn't really like, to me this was an 80s album, but when I heard Classic Yes, that's when I got a taste of prog rock, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. It just got me. So yeah, and I think if 90125 had not come out, it might have taken me several years longer to have discovered prog rock. So anyway, so the last question, this is the bonus question. Album essential to anyone wanting to get into 80s music. So the gateway to the 80s. What do you pick? What do you dig out? I got Night Ranger. What was the name of this one? Night Ranger. I can't even find it. Shoot. Oh, Midnight Madness. I chose this one as like, okay, if you're going to get into 80s music, because it's got the power ballad Sister Christian, which is one of my favorite songs as well. It's got they rock out with You Can Still Rock in America, and one of my favorites, When You Close Your Eyes. It's a romantic song. When you close your eyes, do you dream about me? So to me, like, this is sort of, I don't know if it's considered hair metal, but they do have the hair. It's so 80s. So if I were going to say, hey, start with an 80s album, just go and get Night Ranger and really get a taste of the, the power ballad and then the rocking out. And it's really good. So, thank you so much for joining me in my trip down memory lane. The 80s were a blast, my teen years. And so yeah, thank you for joining. Bye.